0, we go to 0, f of 0 is negative 2. This is 0. So this, just because it has 3 letters, doesn't mean we do it any differently. You just evaluate it the exact same way. Inside, work your way out. F of negative 2, so negative 2, f of negative 2 is 0. What is f of 0? Negative 2. Okay, f and g. This is where things get a little bit complicated, and it's more complicated because there's a mistake in the writing. This should say negative 5 right here. My apologies. On f, we should say negative 5. F should say negative 5. So we're asking what value of x makes f of x equal to negative 5?
8.
8. Okay, how did you get that?
So I first looked at the negative 5 and I looked at it in the table for f.
Right.
So then I looked at the x value and it gave me 1. And then I plugged that in as if it was, and then I went backwards and I looked again at the f of x equals 1 and then I looked at its x value.
So let me walk this, kind of like the perfect explanation. So your goal is that whatever number you get here, this inside part, whatever you get there, has to equal 8. Because f of 8 has to equal 1. Because f of 1 is negative 5. So you need the inside part to equal 1. Because then you would have f of 1, and f of 1 would be negative 5. So if you want the inside part to equal 1, what you're saying is you want this to happen. And you're asking what value of x, come on, would make this true. So what value of x makes this true? Well, what value of x can I plug in here to get 1? If I plugged in 8 for x, f of 8 would be 1. So therefore, if x is 8, then f of x equals negative 5. So again, this problem you want to start on the outside. You know that this inside part has to be 1. How did we know that? Because f of 1 is negative 5. So if we want the inside part to be 1, we have an equation like this. And we just ask ourselves, what x value makes this equation true? What value of x can I plug in here so I get 1 for y? Let's look. 1 for y, plug in 8 for x. Questions on that? How do I do g then? How do I do g? How do we do g? Actually, why am I even doing this? Just put the cards on. We spent a lot of tape on it for a reason. Everybody said they understood it. Queen of spades. How do I do g? Oh, who's queen? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm still working on my problem.
You're still working on f?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to discuss? Okay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you might do g? Slash. You can defer to a classmate, given your voice issues.
So we're gonna go 0 for g of x, right? And then we're gonna. Yeah, I'm kind of confused.
Okay. Michelle? Walk through the process.
You have g of x equals 0, so then you go your first 0, which is the second column, and you look at your x, which is negative 1, because you can't find a negative 1 in the g of x, so you know that one doesn't work. Then you go to the second 0 that's in the g of x, and you have x4 as the x,
Right.
and you look for it in the g of x, and it's not in there as well.
Right.
And then you go to the third 0, and you look for, you see x as 6,
Mhm.
and you look for it in the bottom row,
Mhm.
and it's 6, and it's x is 1.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit quick, but I think that's exactly right. That's certainly one way to do it. So I think what I would think about is we need this inside part. We need this inside part to equal either negative 1 or 4 or 6. Because if it equals one of those, then we would get 0 as the result. So we want the inside part to be either -1, 4, or 6. So our goal is that this inside g of x either equals -1, or it equals 4, or it equals 6. Question is, which one can we do? Well, g of x never equals -1. It never equals 4, but it does equal 6. And when does it equal 6? When x is 1. So, what did we find? We found that g of 1 equals 0. G of 1 is 6. G of 6 is 0. Questions? Michelle? You write x equals. No. You want to write this answer as your final answer. You don't have to write the sentence, though. Hector, and then Cassandra.
So even though the question is asking you values.
Yeah, that was a typo.
Oh.
Total typo. Yeah. Cassandra, was that your question too?
I'm still confused because I don't get how you choose whether which one of those three is
Because the other two ones not found.
Because it's not possible for g of x to ever equal 4. Because there's no y value that is 4 for g of x.
Oh,
Yeah, friend.
And that's just if this, if we were to graph what's on the points that are on here,
Okay.
we're just assuming it's not continuous, right?
Right. So we're only assuming that like those are the points that we know. Absolutely. We have no idea what happens anywhere else. That's right. That's right. Okay. How much time do I have left? Till 9?
Yeah.
All right, let's do graphically then, and we can pick up algebra next. Okay, so graphically. So now, the only difference in this problem and the previous one is now we've given you graphs instead of data tables. That's the only difference. So, let me model A and B. So A, f of g of -8. So if you want to rewrite that, that's what we have. So g of -8. I go over here to -8, and by the way, this is the graph of g of x. They've indicated that here. So I go over here to -8 for x, come up, and the y value is 1. So g of -8 equals 1. G of -8 equals 1. That's straight off the graph. So now I would rewrite this as, okay, so f of, instead of g of -8, let's just put 1 there, because we know they're equal. So what is f of 1? Well, here's f of x. Let's plug in 1 and see where the point is. The point is at 4. So now we just write our answer, f of g. But you should write it as like they wrote it initially. So f of g of -8 equals 4. If you feel confident with these, you can continue on. I'm going to do B though as well. And again, now we're not using the data table anymore. It's like purely the graph. So now with B, g of f of 2. G of f of 2. So f of 2, come over here to 2, go up to f of x. I get 5. So f of 2 equals 5. So now I can rewrite this as g of 5. Where is g of 5? We'll come over here to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come up here to g. That's right here. And I get 3. So g of f of 2 equals 3. Questions on this at all? Alright, so why don't you guys finish up? If you're already done, I can come around and check it real quick. And then we will...
Do I stop the recording?
Yeah, you can stop the recording now.
It is off, folks.